This is Amazing Afternoons. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Jamie Webster. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm Sean. Frankie, thanks for having me. How are you?
Very good. It's good to hear from you. I'm sick of doing these Zoom phone calls and interviews and stuff like that. But I imagine if you're releasing an album during the biggest pandemic we've seen for quite some number of years in the universe, it must be quite tricky trying to get a record out. But you got the midweeks through, didn't you? And it's looking good. First of all, how are you? And where's your head at the moment? Because this must be a bit of a trip.
Yeah, I'm fine. Really good at the moment, obviously. Yeah, my head's still a bit in the clouds at the moment, I'd say. You still be sort of sat. I mean, yesterday I was still in the top four. Well, in fact, yeah, I've literally got me chart placed through now at the moment, and I'm number 5 today. So I'm still in the top 5. I mean, I think when I signed a record deal, top 50 was the aim. Do you know what I mean? So, and considering the people who were ahead of me, I've got Juice WRLD, Taylor Swift, Erasure, and the Killers. Do you know what I mean? It's hardly like they're half-hearted outfits. These are big players, and yeah, just to be like, it baffles me every day. Just seeing the message come through off my manager, and Juice WRLD have just overtook you. And you're like, what's going on? Do you know what I mean? It was Taylor Swift. It's just yeah, it's an amazing sort of time. I'm just overwhelmed with the response and support of all the fans and listeners out there. That they're the ones who've made this happen, not me. And I can't thank them enough.
An incredible story, even if you end up being at number 5. That's an incredible achievement in itself. Yeah, like you say, anywhere near the top 40, you would have been happy with. But Jamie, on a kind of national, international level, we first saw you of prominence probably outside of Liverpool after you did the Ali track. I guess that kind of propelled you. But how important is it for you as an artist to now be able to be so high in the charts with this record, but to show everyone what you are capable of? If you wouldn't mind just talking a little bit about how long you've been playing and how long you've been writing music for.
Yeah, I mean, God, I've been playing in bands since I was 15. I remember starting my first band with a few of my mates. So I've been writing music ever since that moment in time, really, since I was about 14, 15. I'm 26 now, so it doesn't happen overnight, any of this. I've worked at my fan base for a long, long time. I've obviously come through the world of Liverpool Football Club, where I've been lucky enough to play on a really, really sort of high platform or wide platform, really. Where I've got people who sort of know what I do, not only in the UK but also around the world. So it was a slow and authentic sort of burner to get to this point, and it just got to a point where I thought, I love doing the football songs, but I've been writing my own songs the whole while that I've been doing this. And I think at 25 or 24, it was 24, 25 when I made the decision that I was, I'm going to do this full time and I'm going to try and put these songs out there. I felt like it was just the right time in my life to do it. I think I wasn't too young, I wasn't too naive, but yeah, I wasn't too old either. So I just thought it was now on. It was a year ago or 18 months ago I signed the deal, and it was now or never at that moment in time. And yeah, just thankfully, the fan base that I have built up over these 10 to 12 years have been a loyal fan base, and they've supported me. And, and it's just all about crossing over from that world of football tunes into standing on your own 2 feet as a singer-songwriter. And for some people, I still may not be doing that. So for me, I just need to concentrate on myself, keep working, keep writing the tunes, keep knocking them out until it's undeniable.
Yeah, well, I think it is undeniable to a certain, to a lot of people, in fact, Jamie. And you've got, you've backed it up with this great record, which is it's going to be flying high in the charts. But I just want to know what the influence was behind the record, be it from the bands you've been into, literature, film, even culture. What is it that's behind the record? Because there seems to be themes in there.
Yeah. I think that the best way to sum the record up would be in a few words. It's a documentation of the joys, the struggles, and the escapes of working class life. I just think it's all in there. A lot of the album's been influenced through things that I've personally been through, or things I've seen through the eyes of one of my friends or people around me. I've took a couple of stories off the building sites and stuff like that when I used to be an electrician. film as well has influenced it. There's a song called The Joker, which was influenced by the film The Joker. Not so much actual Heath Ledger himself, but more the concept behind how many times someone could be abandoned by the system and by society before they turn into this villain. And like, how many times are people putting on that brave face of a smiling clown, when deep down it's not really like that. So I think the best way to sum it up is just real life. Do you know what I mean? I think it's real. I think I'm not trying to pretend to be somebody I'm not. I'm not trying to paint the world in a different light to how it is. I'm just telling it how I see it and how people around me, and people who I think have gone through the same sort of background as me, which is a working class background. And that doesn't, exclusify it to Liverpool. That could be anywhere up and down the country, in different countries. Do you know what I mean? I think as working class people, we share something very similar, and probably more than we care to admit it. You know what I mean? We feel the same emotions, feelings, everything. The sense of sense of journey, sense of escape. We all strive to reach those same feelings, and so maybe in different ways. But that's why I think that's why I'm hoping that the album's gone down so well, because when people take the time to listen to the words and listen to what I'm writing about, I'm hoping that these people will go, well, do you know what? Yeah, I've done that, or I've been there. I've seen that myself, and yeah, I know what he's talking. I can see that. I can see exactly what he's talking about. That's what I want my music to do, just to bring people together. To bring as many people together as possible. For the right reasons, and that's just, I think, escapism, really.
Yeah, some good values there. And being someone from the Northeast myself, and you from the Northwest, I think we have very similar upbringings in a sense of a political landscape as well. I mean, I'm not going to pin this as a political record, but I guess it just becomes organic in your songwriting if you've always been surrounded by, I guess, being let down by the system in some ways, by the status quo. Do you feel that? And I certainly received that from your music.
Yeah, definitely. It is a political record. There's some tunes in there that, they tell you in no uncertain terms the way that I think about how things are run, how things should be run. Yeah, and that's down to experience. That's down to the nature of me and where I've grew up, basically. You're right. People in the Northwest and the Northeast, we've experienced things maybe firsthand a lot more than, not saying no one else in the country's suffered to the hands of the government, because they certainly have, but I think certainly where we come from, I think we've definitely got first-hand experience of how, of being mistreated by the government, of being forgotten, being left behind in some cases, certainly with my city. So, yeah, and as a young lad, you come away, as you're growing up, I mean, your album is your life's work. It's about, your first album is your life's work. It's right away. Some of the songs I wrote when I was 19. And as I grown up where I've grown up, I've been made aware of these things. And obviously, as a young lad, you wear your heart on your sleeve, the younger you are, if you like. So some of the songs are really, really sort of, post-school, like, right into the thick of working a full 9-to-5 job and, really seeing the world for what it is. I think some of the songs in there are really, really heartfelt and really, really angry and quite bold in the way that I say them. And that's down to the person that I was at that time. I'm still that person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. If I were to disagree with you on something, I'd tell you, straight away that I disagree. You wouldn't get an agreement and then we go behind this. It's just, it's a big slice of me and how I think and how I approach things, really, mate. And yeah, like I've said before, I'm overwhelmed that there's so many people who seem to think the same way, and it makes me feel good about almost not humanity, but it makes you feel good that there's so many like-minded people in the world.
Well, of course there is, and I think sometimes, especially when political opinion, especially on maybe our side of politics, I think we share the same viewpoint. But it's amazing, isn't it, how music can unite like-minded people, and just to see the bigger picture. And I think your music does that. And just speaking about the music as an influence, what kind of music were you listening to maybe in the run up to making this record, or maybe currently, which has had an impact on this record? Are you one of those people from the Northwest who will always look back to the heritage of the Northwest bands. You can hear some of it in your twang, obviously, the Lars, and especially that kind of ilk of indie, if you like. But are you more of a broader listening person yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I love the Lars. You dead on there with that one, mate. I really do like the Lars. I think if I were to pick a band from Liverpool that would have been my biggest influence, it would have been the Lars.
Mm-hmm.
Cast probably would have been the second.
Yeah.
The Beatles. I love the Beatles. Everyone likes the Beatles. They pioneered music.
Yeah.
But basically, I'm not the sort. I don't get up every morning and put Sgt. Pepper's on. Do you know what I mean? And,
I thought everyone in Liverpool does that.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, I think Lee Mavers and John Power actually said it in an interview. Like, they like the Beatles, but they don't get up in the morning and go, "Oh, do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I want to start my day with Love Me Do." It's like, they're a great band, and no one could ever take away what the Beatles have done. But for me, the Lars were just a bit more me. They were a bit more real, a bit more dark, a bit more, what I mean? Well, real is the word.
More direct, really, yeah.
Yeah. And so the Lars have always been. I think Bob Dylan's my number one. He always has been, and he always will be. I think. I think, to be honest, in the lead up to the album, I've been listening to more like breakthrough / emerging artists. I've been listening a lot more to like artists around my tier and a couple of tiers above me. So I've been listening to the Snuts quite a bit.
Yeah.
Been listening to the Lathams. We obviously share a manager. Yeah. So like I know them lads really well, and I'm not only a mate of theirs, I am a genuine fan. You know what I mean? Yeah. Proper fanboy of the Lathams. What else? I've been listening to Sam Fender quite a bit. I know he's a couple of years just gone, another northeastern lads, but I like Springsteen. I like certain Springsteen songs, and when I first heard him, I was like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? That is Springsteen. Like, if there was ever a young version of Springsteen, it's him. And I love that song by him, The Borders. It's just like, it's an amazing song. So I've been listening to that. Like, I listen to a lot of old stuff as well. I've been listening to Harry Nilsson. I listen to a lot of Pink Floyd. Yeah. Johnny Cash. I even listen to a lot of like old school rap. Do you know what I mean? And even like Gil Scott-Heron, a little bit jazzy. I listen I listen to it. I've got a broad spectrum of music, and I think Neil Young as well. It's just like, it's whatever I feel like on the day. But I think just off those people I've mentioned there, I think if you mention that, maybe mine is Sam Fender, the Lathams, because they're a bit new school. But I forgive you, it's like the bulk of what I've just mentioned there. It probably comes through in the album a little bit. Yeah. Where the influences come from, But no, I just make a tune's a tune. It doesn't matter. Got a massive guilty pleasure for Elton John as well. Like,
one of the greatest.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend went to see him in Amsterdam last year, and that was an amazing gig. So it's got no sort of boundaries with me. Whatever, if it's a good tune and it seems to be real, it's proper. It's mine all day. Do you know what I mean? I'll listen to it.
Great. That's the best way to be, Jim. Best way to be. What's your plans then? Because I guess releasing normally under certain, previous circumstances, you work up to a record by touring it to death, and then you release the record. You have a big party that night, probably a big gig, and then to celebrate the record charting, which yours will, you'd have another big gig. So, what's the plan?
Yeah, no gigs really. I think I had an amazing sort of launch party with my family and friends last Friday. Yeah. Private event that we'd hired. It was lovely. My mum and dad were made up. They were dead proud to see like, the day coming, the album be out there, and we had a good night. And then if I get top 10 tomorrow, there's not a chance that I'm going to stay in. So I'm going to go out and have a weekend in paradise, shall we say, if it comes in the way that I want it to. It's a bit of a shame that I can't get out and gig it, but it's not just me. Do you know what I mean? Every musician is in the same boat at this moment in time. As long as no one's going to get further ahead of anyone in terms of gig wise, so I'm not worried about fans going away, because it's not like they're going to listen to anyone else at the moment in time. Instead of me. Mm-hmm. I think for me, I've just got to keep writing and work towards that second record.
Well, that's a good thing about being a solo artist, I guess. I guess you can just get your head down and start, as you say, keep on writing. You're in charge of your own destiny to a certain point. And if anything, you know, you're going to come out of this with a bigger audience, a more hungry audience as well. Can't wait to see you. And then, you know, you've got time on your hands where normally you would be on the road for about a year, wouldn't you? And you wouldn't have the chance to write.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think if any solo artist or band or group of musicians aren't using this time to their advantage to get ahead of the game in terms of songs, we can't get, as you said, we can't get ahead of the game in terms of live gigs. There's no way around it at the moment in time, unless you're going to do what Sam Fender done with the, you know,
socially distant gigs.
Yeah. If you want to do something like that, that's fine. That might be an opportunity that we have to explore. I personally don't want to do that. I just want gigs to be gigs again. Do you know what I mean? Like I love them. I would like this. I just think all or nothing for me. I'm then again, no, my management might turn around in a couple of months and go, well, listen, we need to do some sort of social gigs because, you know, we need to basically. So we'll see. But I think any bands or musician, like I say, who's not getting their head down now and writing, like if you're just about to release your second album, why not get working on your third one? Because as soon as them gigs come back, the train's not going to stop. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be all out everywhere. So for me, I ideally want album 2
ready to go,
written and recorded, if possible, before my tour in February and March. Do you know what I mean? I really do.
What's your recording process, Jamie? Who do you record with, or who have you got? Have you got any aspirations to record with anyone in particular? You've got some nice studios up there in Liverpool.
Yeah, to be honest, I do my demos myself with my bass player. He's a producer. He's basically a producer as well, on the laptop and stuff. I knocked them up together myself. I've something I learned during lockdown, actually, how to record properly and produce a little bit. But when it comes to, like, I think I just knock up a batch of demos every couple of months. So 2 weeks time, I'll have 4 demos ready for me manager. Then between us, we'll choose the single or whatever, you know, what we think's a single, and then we go in with. It's funny because I'm perfectly happy with who I record with now. I record in past streets with either Rich Turvey, or Chris Taylor. Now, both are equally, you know what I mean, amazing. Rich works on Blossom stuff. Chris Taylor works on Latham stuff, and you know, Chris Taylor's recording the new Lightning Seeds record this week. Do you know what I mean? It's like these are big people who work with big people. Chris Taylor works with James Skelly nearly every day from the Coral. You know what I mean? They work as a team. It's amazing to just. I've learned so much just off being in rooms with people like this over the last year to 18 months. But if I write a song basically, and basically I think that's one for the band, that's one for the band to put their parts to it, then we go in with Chris Taylor, because everyone's got the parts in the band that I use are absolutely unbelievable. The proper session musicians, they make my life so much easier. But if it's a song that's more of a songwriter's song, where I think it doesn't exactly need a full drum kit on it or a full drum shuffle, or you know, it doesn't need a guitar solo, it just needs touches here and there, then me and Rich will get in and we'll do it in this sort of like little lab, and he can play piano, keys, bass, guitar as well. So between the two of us, we sort out the production that way. But I know basically once I've written a song, whether it's a song for Rich or a song for Chris. And the album's sort of almost split 50-50 down the middle on who I recorded it with. So yeah, it's got a great balance, and I just feel lucky that I got introduced to these fellas, you know, as a breakthrough artist, because there's some people who record 2-3 albums before they have the chance to work with people like this. And you know, I'm like, again, I can't thank them enough for their input and their help on the album, but also like I can't thank my management enough for putting me in the room with those people.
Well, Jamie, it sounds like you're surrounded yourself with the right people, and everything's going in the right trajectory for you. We're going to probably end it now, if that's all right with you, because I imagine this is a very busy day for you. And I just want to wish you, from everyone at Amazing Radio, all the best for the chart position. And no matter what, you know, I think you're here now. Your time is now, Jamie, and we wish you all the best. And good luck with everything.
Thanks very much, Frankie. Appreciate it, mate.